Hey, what's up, bro? Welcome back to another update on FinBud and my journey. And today, what I want to talk about is the digest feature that I've been working rather, I should say. And I've just realized that I don't think I told you guys about what FinBud is and what uh, its mission is. So, yeah, I guess I should start with that. So the main motivation behind FinBud is that I need the personal finance tracker because when I was in Germany, I actually kind of struggled with keeping the touch with how the budgets are going in the month. I'm actually a big financial education supporter or advocate, and I think it should be taught in schools. But anyway, so I know a bit about financial education, and so whenever I got my paycheck in Germany, I always used to split it up in budgets, and I would attribute those budgets to expenses, to leisure, and investments, and an emergency fund because you always want to have an emergency fund. And so for pretty much 4 or 5 months while I was in Germany, I stuck with discipline and rigorously to these rules. And so I actually managed to make quite a bit of money. I was able to invest a lot. I was able to keep expenses under control, and I also had a decent amount of money left for leisure activities as well. But it was pretty tedious in the sense that I had to keep track of my budgets in Apple Notes, which wasn't really sustainable. And on top of that, I kind of wanted to have a place where I could where I could have an overview, or rather monitor how my investments are going. And so while I was back home, I pretty much had no real project to work on, and so I thought about the time period when I was in Germany and how that was, and it struck me that I actually needed a personal finance application, and so that's why I started building FinBud. And yeah, let's say this is pretty much the origin story of the current application that I'm developing. When it comes to features, it doesn't necessarily have a lot of features apart from being able to parse financial transactions from a bank statement. Only Revolut is supported at the moment, but I'm gonna try to increase the area of coverage on banks, although that's kind of hard because ideally I would be able to hook up to a bank's actual API and automatically extract the transactions from there. But I don't know how it is in the US or the rest of the world, but in Europe that's pretty much impossible because you need a lot of regulations, a lot of authorizations, which are pretty much impossible to get for a solo developer like me. If you are a company, then yeah, maybe it's somewhat more doable, but for a solo personal developer, that's pretty much impossible. And so the second best alternative was to actually parse a bank statement from the banks, but that's not really scalable because it means that you pretty much have to support um, each bank individually, which is not a great approach. But yeah, maybe I could use an LLM or something of that sort in the future. Yeah, I actually think I can use that. Considering OpenAI released their open source models a couple of days ago, maybe I could work with that. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea that came to me on the spot. Okay, that's the main idea behind FinBud. Some part of the feature, so I can parse financial transactions and I can view budgets in the form of charts. So I have currently three bar charts where I have categories such as expenses, leisure, and others such as, I don't know, bank transfers from one to another, or transactions that I couldn't really figure out how to label in the code, because I do that as well, because not all of the transactions from the bank statement that are labeled as they actually are. Those are the backbone features of FinBud, and yeah, I've been developing the digest feature, which is supposed to be at a glance feature, where you can pretty much see instantly on the homepage how you're going through the month when it comes to budgets, and I can have multiple states with a pro rata check, which basically takes the amount of days that have passed since the beginning of the month started and makes some calculations and then displays a status. Another idea struck me today, um, and this is more towards the portfolio, the investments portfolio management. I actually have a friend which runs some business on Tasty Trade, and so he's trading options and the stocks and everything. And so he actually approached me today with the idea of making a trading algorithm or something similar. So pretty much this would be some sort of bot that would be able to close positions or initiate positions or move positions depending on the price action. And so I actually thought that this is a pretty cool idea, and I started research how that would be done, and uh, and I landed on pub sub driven approach, where I could pretty much have a WebSocket client that is hooked up to Tasty Trades API, which would then inform my application when prices change, and based on that, I can take some actions. And yeah, I was planning about this, and I got pretty excited, and I wanted to share with you guys. And also, GPT-5 dropped like yesterday or so, and I've been playing around with it in Cursor, and bro, it's stupidly fast. Like I'm shocked at how fast it is. I haven't really checked the data that it puts out, but I saw that it gives a bit more detailed information than other models. My default is Gemini 2.5 Pro. I actually like that more. Haven't really used Claude. I saw there's a lot of hype online, but I personally didn't really enjoy it. I think that Claude went a bit over the top whenever I told him to implement something, and so I chose to stick with Gemini. And yeah, the results have been pretty good. But then again, I'm not necessarily a vibe coder. I just use AI as a sparring partner. But yeah, let me share some GPT-5 with you. So yeah, here's a prompt because I actually asked GPT a bit about event-driven architecture and everything, and I'm a bit lost, to be honest. I haven't really developed any PubSub applications or event-driven ones. So when it comes to WebSockets and things like this, I've only read a couple of stuff. Conceptually, I kind of understand how it works, but I haven't really dove into the details. And so I have this prompt, and bro, like, look at this. Yeah, it has to like think for a bit, but once it's done thinking, it's blazingly fast. I think it's even faster than Gemini, which is actually a pretty impressive feature. But yeah, so here you can see the reasoning behind the answer that it's going to propose. I haven't really dove into the reasoning of the model, but I see that it's reasoning for quite a while longer than Gemini does. So it actually came up with the answer, and as you saw, it's actually pretty fast. Like, I'm surprised by how fast it is. So yeah, it's thinking for like 40 seconds pretty much each time I prompt it. But yeah, I haven't really used it too much to get a feel for how good the communication is with the model. But back with Gemini, I actually enjoyed talking to it. I felt like we were on the same wavelength, but I wanted to test out GPT-5 because there was so much hype around it, and I actually use GPT a lot in the browser, but not really as a coding partner. But yeah, I'm gonna keep you posted with more updates on how coding with GPT-5 is. Hey, what's up, bro? It's been a couple of days since I last made an update, and it's been quite crazy. I would say I did a couple of things. I got deep into building the trading bot that I told you about, and yeah, let's start with the beginning. I actually went and saw a conference league game Craiova played, which is a bigger city that is quite near my city actually, and it was my first time being on like a bigger stadium, and the experience was amazing. I actually loved being there, even though I don't support them. The only team that I watch and support is Manchester United. I actually did enjoy the game quite a lot. Craiova ended up winning 3-0, which was great because I was in the ultras part of the stadium. I'm gonna leave you guys some clips. And yeah, as you can see, the atmosphere is crazy. It was really nice. The stadium was kind of full, and yeah, as I said, it was my first time being in like a bigger stadium, because we do have a stadium here in my city, but it's not that big, and there weren't any, let's say, bigger games played, because I think uh, Conference League qualifiers are the biggest games that I can see right now. I wish that I am able to see a big Manchester United game, but yeah, maybe sometime in the future, who knows. But back to our application, back to FinBud. I actually managed to finish the digest feature. It's just an MVP. I'm not quite satisfied with the way the feature is actually looking right now, but it's the best that I can do with the tools and the time that I have right now, because I think this this trading bot is actually a really good idea and path for me to walk right now. The thing with this trading bot is that you kind of need a software for this strategy to work, because otherwise you will have to sit in front of the computer the whole day to press buttons and then be present all the time in front of your computer, so that you can close positions and take other positions when time requires it. And so I'm actually trying to build an automated bot for this, but it's a completely new challenge, because now I need to dive into the world of PubSub and event notification type of stuff, which I've never done before, but it's actually quite interesting. But definitely, it really did flip my brain in so many ways that I. It's actually been a while since I've last felt this with any piece of technology, because it's something that's completely new, right? I did a bit of PubSub in the past with real-time operating systems, but nothing like this. Like, I didn't necessarily code anything. I just used a UI, an MQTT UI, and pretty much that's it, to send some signals back and forth with some board. But yeah, here things are on a different level, because I need to use DX Link, which they market it as being the next generation market data streaming service. And using that, I can pretty much subscribe to events, and when events on a certain topic are changed, I get those notifications, and based on that I can adjust the trading bot's strategy if need be. I've also played around with GPT-5. I'm not quite sure what your guys' opinion is on that, but for me, that's not quite the best model out there, to be honest, because even though it is pretty smart, like, I was kind of shocked at how smart and fast it is. At the same time, I think it's a bit too smart for me. Like, there were a lot of times where GPT-5 was spitting out a lot of stuff, and I wasn't quite necessarily on its level of spitting stuff, and there was a lot of back and forth of explain this to me, why did you do this, and things like this. But I think if you are a vibe coder, and if you use it as an agent and let it do the work, I think it's amazing. I'm saying that it's amazing because I've seen how it does things. I actually had it write some code, and the code it wrote was actually pretty good, and it really did think about a lot of edge cases and different approaches to the problem. But it's not my cup of tea, to be honest. I don't really use AI as a vibe coding agent, but rather as a partner or AI pair programmer. And I think that's at least for me that's the right way to use it, because I'm trying to learn stuff, I'm trying to grow alongside it, and I'm not thinking of AI as a coder or anything. I'm just using it as a tool, and I think that's how you should do it as well. And on top of that, it's way cheaper to do it this way than have it like a full-on autonomous agent. Yeah, it might be faster, but it really does depend on what type of feature you're implementing, because if you're requesting something too broad, then the time you would actually spend on developing the feature, you're spending it on debugging what the AI wrote, and I don't think that's too much fun. Now let me show you the digest feature, the MVP version of it. Okay, so as you can see, this is the digest feature. Here we have the three budgets that I care about actually tracking. Currently, we don't have anything uploaded because I had to pretty much reset the database, because I ran into some issues when I tried to port the database, and yeah, I had to reset everything so that I can start on a clean slate and not face errors every time I want to migrate or push new changes to the models. So here we have, as I said, the three budgets that I care about, and here we have the percentage of where we are in the month. We actually have a percentage that is telling us, okay, this is how much you used for this month, and based on that status, this text changes, and this emoji as well. I'm not quite satisfied with how this looks, but as an MVP, I would say this is okay for now. Moving forward, I think I will change this to like a Shad CN card component where I display everything way better, and maybe a progress bar as well that would be colored depending on how this percentage is going. Um, but yeah, here we have the budgets part, the form of the budget allocation, where you can pretty much distribute how much you want to spend on expenses, on leisure and investments. And yeah, the reports part is not yet done. I haven't ported it yet, but as you can see, it's not yet there. Statements, I should probably get rid of this. And then investments, here we will connect the tasty trade, and we'll have the bot up and running. I'm yet to think about the UI. I know that I want to have a form with some input fields. I can't really remember right now what values those are, but I have them written down, because apart from the actual technical challenge of PubSub and such, I actually need to gain a bit more domain expertise so that I'm actually knowing what I'm doing. And yeah, I'm in the process of expanding both. So in a nutshell, this would be the current state of the application. So yeah, back to the video. Hey, what's up, bro? I have a new update for you. The reason why I hate the vibe coding is because currently the AI isn't spilling out anything useful. So I played around with GPT-5, as I told you, and I had it code a whole feature for me, because it was pretty hard to wrap my head around it, and I wanted to see it done. Because mind you, I'm still getting used to Next.js and the Node, and switching the tech stack, all while building this feature for FinBud. And so I had it code out this entire feature, right? And it created two tables in the database, and judging by its judgment, I went with it because I thought it was appropriate at the time. But now that I'm actually having to play around with the code and work with it, I'm seeing that it implemented some bullshit. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So here we have the Postgres database, and as you can see here we have two tables: broker connections and broker tokens. And those two tables were supposed to keep track of connections to brokers such as Tasty Trade in this case, because that's the platform that I'm building the bot on. And so This table only has three columns, which is ID, connection ID, and access token. But a crucial mistake that the AI did while coding this is having this column being access token. When you talk about authentication and stuff, you don't want to save the access token because that's what you use to get access, and that's the one that expires quick. What you actually want to store is the refresh token because that's the one that you can use to pretty much farm access tokens when you need them. So if the access token expired or is invalid, if you don't have the refresh token, you can't really get a new one unless you go through the authentication cycle again. But if you do have a refresh token, you don't have to manually input your credentials and everything. And yeah, I thought it was funny that the AI messed this up, and instead of saving the refresh token, it actually saved the access token. So yeah, this is why I hate vibe coding, and rather you should use, and why I'm saying you should rather use AI as a sparring partner and as a learning tool rather than a full-on programmer, because it can actually make those types of mistakes which kind of suck, because then you have to spend a lot of time debugging what it wrote. And yeah, this is what I wanted to tell and show you guys. Don't rely on vibe coding, because I spent the last half an hour to an hour figuring out what's wrong with with this and why it's not working, and now I have the answer. Hey, what's up, bro? Judging by the size of my hair from the last transition until now, you can probably see that it's been a couple of days. I've been visiting some friends in another city, and I didn't really get the chance to record much. But now I'm back, and I got back to work. Oh, and yeah, this is something fresh that I got today actually, because I today I went to the gym and I had my usual high intensity boxing session, which I do for cardio, and apparently, I didn't really hit the bag clean today, and yeah, it's safe to say that I can't really type on the keyboard as we speak without being in really, really big pain. I feel like crying sometimes. Um, but yeah, other than that, it's been actually going pretty good. I've started developing the trading bot for FinBud, and I've managed to establish the connection with the live market data. I need some sort of background worker running in a different process to have this WebSocket connection to get the actual market data. And so this is exactly what I did. I spun up another process that I call a background worker, which pretty much maintains the connection to the platform, so that I can get real-time data, and then I make calls to different endpoints to receive other types of data that's not live that I need for the trading bot. So yeah, the trading bot has been going really well, but what I wanted to give you an update today about is a couple of stuff actually. I've been applying to a couple of different jobs. Actually, first of all, let's start with Node, because I'm actually quite surprised about the speed of development that Next.js gives you. I've been able to pick it up in a couple of days and start developing this trading bot in it without having, let's say, any prior experience. I mean, yeah, I knew some JavaScript, some TypeScript, some React, which is basically pretty much what Next is. Um, but I don't really consider myself being as proficient in something like TypeScript as I am in like C Sharp. So yeah, this change to Next.js was actually really smooth. I really liked it, and I think I did get to a pretty good level where I'm able to build features and pretty much do anything that I could do in C Sharp. And right now, yeah, I do understand why most startups and the smaller sized companies, and not only those, but uh, this is my target audience, let's say. I now understand why these prefer to have like Next.js in their tech stack instead of C Sharp or Java, because it really does give you a lot of speed and flexibility when it comes to building feature. And yeah, I guess as a startup or smaller scaled company, The most important thing for you is speed, so definitely Next.js does give you that. And the second point that I wanted to talk to you guys about is actually an invitation to an interview that I turned down, which in this job market seems to be pretty crazy, pretty insane, right? But yeah, I had um, a job application spree, let's call it like that. And in this job application spree, I applied to a lot of different jobs all over Europe. And I didn't necessarily read the description of the product and things like this. I just read that they use C sharp and I guess that's it. I only wanted it to be like a web application and them using C sharp, and that's it. And so I received an email from a pretty big payment company that they were really excited to read my CV and they wanted to get me on a call and to an interview to talk with them. But upon reading the job that I applied at and seeing that it's an internal tool, so I would be back in enterprise territory with this job building an internal tool. That actually made me throw up. Like the thought of going back to enterprise and working on internal tools that probably will bring a, so little value or be really used only by, let's say, 5 or 10 or 20 managers is really the death of passion for me. I can't really do any enterprise or corporate or like big corporate things anymore. I just don't think I fit in the environment anymore. And so I actually ghosted them. It was my turn to actually ghost them. It felt pretty weird because it's not really in my character to ghost people, but yeah, I just didn't really pick up because I wasn't really interested in the job. But this actually taught me not really taught me, but this I would say this rejection from my side gives me a better understanding of what I want and where I need to go. Because the fact that I straight out rejected any approach from them to going on an interview really does tell me that that was my gut feeling, like, and you should always trust your gut feeling. Like your gut feeling is probably the thing that knows the best what you need to do, and so yeah, you should definitely listen to it, but don't confuse it for your amygdala, the part of your brain that is giving you thoughts based on fears and negative emotions. Be really careful about that. um, but yeah, with that being said, I guess those are the updates that I wanted to tell you guys. A lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, and yeah, as soon as I can type on a keyboard again, I will be back with some more updates. But yeah, until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.